came home late one night and found a stranger sleeping on my couch. I thought it was over when he left, but the strange notes, noises, and messages started the very next day. I never thought I would come home and find a complete stranger in my house. It happened last Tuesday, and I am still shaking just thinking about it. I got off work pretty late that day. The sky was already dark, and the streetlights were flickering like something was wrong. When I pulled up to my driveway, I thought I saw a shadow move behind the curtains. At first, I told myself it was just my imagination after a long day. But then, as I unlocked the door and stepped inside, I heard a soft snoring sound. My heart jumped into my throat. Who could be in my house at this hour? I crept slowly down the hallway, trying to spot where the noise was coming from without making a sound. As I reached the living room, my eyes adjusted to the low light and I saw him. There was a man lying on my couch, curled up with a blanket pulled over his shoulder. He looked peaceful, but that just made it worse. I did not know what to do. I was terrified, confused, and furious all at once. I crouched behind the wall and called out, barely a whisper, "Hey, who are you? What are you doing here?" The man opened his eyes slowly and looked around like he had just woken from a long sleep. When he saw me, his face changed. He pushed the blanket aside and sat up quickly, rubbing his wrists like he had fallen asleep on the floor. "I am sorry," he said quietly. "I did not mean to scare you." I wanted to shout at him, but something in his voice made me hold back. I asked him how he got into my house. He said he found the door unlocked and said he just needed a place to rest. I was seething inside. My mind raced with questions. How long had he been there? What if he was dangerous? What if he had been watching me? I looked him over carefully. He was maybe in his early 30s with scruffy brown hair and tired eyes. No fancy clothes, but nothing that screamed criminal either. Still, he was a stranger in my house without permission. It felt like a gross invasion of privacy. I kept my distance and reached for my phone to call the police, but before I could, he raised his hands. "Please, just hear me out, okay? I'm not here to hurt you. I am just homeless." I did not trust him, but I also felt a strange wave of pity. I had never dealt with someone like this before. I asked if he could leave, and he nodded reluctantly. I led him to the door and watched as he stepped outside into the cool night air. But as soon as he disappeared around the corner, I locked every lock in the house and called the police anyway. The officers arrived quickly and took my statement. They searched the neighborhood but found no sign of the man. They told me to be careful and keep my doors locked from now on, and that was the end of it, or so I thought. Later that night, as I tried to fall asleep, I kept hearing noises outside my window. Scratches and soft tapping like someone was trying to get my attention. I wanted to be brave and look, but my hands were shaking too much. I pulled the blanket over my head, but the feeling of being watched would not leave me. That night, I barely slept at all. I will never forget the anger and fear that tangled inside me that day. It was not just that a stranger had sneaked into my home. It was that it made me feel unsafe in my own space, and no amount of locks or alarms could fix that feeling. If you like this story, then follow us for the next update.